Name me Jonathan Mesulam. I'm from New Island, village Danu Village, Central New Island LLG, Namatanai District, and New Island Province. Right, I'm a teacher by profession. I teach community school, high school, and then secondary school before me resign, Stablung Place, and starting a community-based organization called West Coast Development Foundation. Alright, West Coast Development Foundation too, we play member belong sila Alliance of Solwara Warriors, and coastal communities, churches, especially the mainline churches, Catholic, Yusin, Lutheran, so I speak up against seabed mining. Today I'm here back on media to inform the general public, especially coastal communities, about the recent meeting led by the acting governor for New Island Province, Honorable Walter Snowbelt. Decision to PEC pasim long talk yes long seabed mining na starting back this project does not go down well with all coastal community, right? And especially for us, USAT we've been campaign against seabed mining for the last 15 years. Right, milagim liglik street so long seabed mining inside long country. Right, the first environmental permit was given back in 2007, and in 2011 this is a mining license ML 154. All right, so from 2011 until now 2025, it's almost 15 years you may oppose seabed mining inside long, not only in New Island Province, but in Papua New Guinea, and regionally in the Pacific, and globally. So this legislation where government want them PEC members belong and make him long supporting this call on seabed mining as coastal communities and locals from New Island we play talk nogat long seabed mining, and that is our stand since 2011. So there are many reasons why we've been calling for a total ban on seabed mining. Number one, long environmental impact. The environmental impact of this project is unknown. Right, even the governor himself, the acting governor himself, the PEC members, and those company personnel, they don't know the environmental impact of this project. And for me as well, and the media and everyone who talk about seabed mining, we don't know any environmental impact. What are the possible implications from the ocean if this mining project goes ahead? So Milak make him clear, no katong implement through inside long sila country, even the scientists too, we'll talk to all scientists, they don't have any explanation to the impact that is going to happen, the likely impact of the project. So, right, that is the first thing that you will get aware of, and it is important that we take precautionary principle na you may apply them. And that does not mean that you take in precautionary principle na you talk long seabed mining. No, we cannot risk our coastal communities, the livelihood of the coastal communities heavily depend on the ocean. So you may not talk yes long seabed mining. You look at all the coastal communities, every day they feed on fish, marine resource. So what will happen to these marine resources? So the environmental impact of seabed mining is still unknown, and no one can tell us that he or she is aware of the potential environmental impact this project is going to have on the coastal livelihood of our people or communities. The second point that we have been arguing about seabed mining is legislative framework. In Papua New Guinea, we don't have any offshore mining act. We don't have any offshore mining act, right? So there's no legislative framework on seabed mining. And why is the government pushing, especially the government for New Island, the PEC, the acting governor, why are they pushing seabed mining? There is no legal framework for seabed mining in the country, and in the UN International Seabed Authority, the ISA. So I've been to the ISA in 23. I've attended the International Seabed Authority, and there is still a debate and discussion on international regulatory framework for seabed mining. So if the UN body, the ISA, does not have any regulatory framework, agreed regulatory framework, then who are we to implement such project that does not have any regulation in place? So I want to assure the people of Papua New Guinea, the people of New Ireland, that this project does not have any regulatory support, right? So you look at law long protecting Yumi suppose is like kind project come up. So why nagaman na may push him? Right, number 3, you look at the economy aspect of this project. Right, time you look at fisheries. Fisheries contributes to the national economy, both locally na nationally. Right, you look long place man may go finding fish na only salim na kissing money, then they use it for their basic needs, and as well as NFA, the National Fisheries Authority, who is the authority that overlooks the ocean, sea, total fisheries. They are the ones that are benefiting from fisheries income nationally, and they also support the national budget. So if that happens, NFA na fisheries by money also on them. And those funds that have been given to NFA have also contributed to the lives of the people. And fisheries is a sustainable resource. Na time you may bagarapin fisheries, by me also want them. All right, so that is the question. So if we are looking at the cost effective, on this project, then fisheries is more sustainable than this 1 or 2 year mining project that comes and destroy the environment, especially the ocean, and then leave us with all these damages, and then that's it. So the long-term impact or implication of this project will greatly affect the coastal communities. So why do we have to support a project that will, does not really benefit the coastal communities? And let us put it that way, mining project or logging project are those white criminal type of project where only a few from the, the government and company and those politicians benefit from. Right, you look at fisheries and agriculture. These are people's, projects where they build, they work hard, they have these resources, they sell, and then they get money and put that into their pocket. And not like mining, where only a few benefits from it. So the implication of our economy, especially fisheries economy, it's going to be affected. So why is the government pushing for a project that is going to affect fisheries industry, a renewable resource, not like this mining where it is non-renewable? All right, now we look at the economy. All right, the next point that we've been always arguing about seabed mining is on the custom, the culture, and our tradition. Right, we all coastal communities, we are interconnected with the ocean, the seas, the marine, animals, right? For example, like in New Ireland, we have this shark calling culture. So what will happen to our custom and our culture? So I don't think this government is looking at protecting our custom and culture, right? They have to work in consultation with the National Cultural Commission and look at some of the programs that the NCC is having with the people of New Ireland, especially in the Barok, Mandak area. They have been supporting shark calling festival. So now this discussion where the acting governor and his team now pushing for this seabed mining does not go down well with some of these agencies that have been supporting our culture's program or activities back home. All right, so that is the third point that we have been raising. The fourth point is about climate change. All right, today a lot of discussion is on climate change and the ocean. All right, the ocean plays a critical role in addressing climate change. The ocean area is much more bigger than the land mass. All right, and we have the ocean plays a critical role, especially the carbon sink at the sea floor. So when that happens, the ocean floor is damaged or being destroyed. What will happen to the carbon sink that goes and settle at the ocean floor? right? We have destroyed, the land, and now we are complaining about the impact of climate change. We have this last frontier, the ocean. So are we going to go and destroy this last frontier? That is a question the government should be asking about, right? Every time they talk about climate change, they promote climate change programs. They don't talk about the ocean. So the ocean plays a critical role in addressing climate change, and we, as guardians, as stewards of the environment, have to look after and protect the ocean. So for me, especially with the announcement of the government coming back to talk about seabed mining, I'd like to say that 15 years of campaigning and standing up against the different companies, the different governments, it's not something new to us. We've been always been able to tackle those cases, and to remind the acting governor and PEC members from the New Ireland Provincial Assembly that we are not over, we are not done with this issue, and we'll take this case as far as we come to settle this issue and ensure that this project does not go ahead in our waters. So I'd like to thank people that have come out clearly and publicly to oppose seabed mining, especially when the recent announcement, there are a lot of New Islanders coming up and speaking up against seabed mining, and I'd like to thank you all for doing that. That is where we should be putting our effort in, addressing issues that is affecting everyone, affecting all of us. All right, so thank you all for the support. Thank you to the churches, especially the Catholic Church, the Caritas team that have been advocating on seabed mining. Thank you for standing up for the people. We also have individuals, private citizens, and the politicians, like the recent statement by the Governor for Oro, Gary Jupa, supporting the call to totally ban seabed mining. Yes, we are all in support, and we will continue to keep this momentum to ensure seabed mining does not go off our waters.